Hey, welcome back everybody. Today is our glass bedding day. So we got the barrel on the action, got the new recoil lug on there, new barrel, new muzzle brake, all that stuff. So, but we need to bed that into this action. Now this action here has already been bedded once before because Boyd's recommends it and it's a good idea. So, but we need to bed this again because we changed the recoil lug. So I need to grind all this out of here. I'm only going to bed the front. There is a little bit of bedding right here, midsection of the stock, but I'm not worried about that. It's just a tiny bit right here. But the front, up around where the lug goes, and the front of the receiver, I want to grind all this out back down to the wood, put some new bedding in there, and get that all set up. So what I'm going to be using is number one, the Brownells. This is the Acroglass gel. I like the gel better because it doesn't get a bunch of air bubbles in it, like pretty much zero air bubbles, and it's easier to work with, I think. I've been using it for a long time now, a few years. It's always worked well for me, so I'm just going to keep using it. Now, one thing, the Brownells comes with this blue release agent, and does it work? Yep, it works. Is it a pain to clean up? Yep, sure is. It works. I've used it many times, but I'm going to try something different today. I have never tried this, but in theory it should work just fine. And that is, I'm going to use wax. Now, I've actually been using this wax. York's Wax is the name of it, and they sent this to me to try out. And so I've been trying it out. I've been putting it on my Benelli 828U. I put it on even my camoed shotguns. I've got a Benelli M2. I've got a Stoeger M3000. I've been putting it on the outside of the guns. It's really made cleaning up a whole lot nicer. When you're out in the duck blinds, whatever, you got mud. It's just gross out there some days. I come home and the guns are just on the outside. They just got slop all over them. So, but using this gun wax here, cleanup way easier, and you know, you're getting a protective coating on there. Now, one thing I will say about this is there is zero petroleum products or any weird chemicals. This is just an organic chemical-free wax with high-grade carnauba. That's all it is. So anyways, shout out to York's. You guys, product. I like it. I really do like it. So I'll link it below along with the Acroglass. If you don't know where to buy that, I'll put some links down below in case you've got a project like this going on yourself. Now here's where we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to put the wax on the action and the barrel. The wax should be a whole lot easier to clean up, and a little bit of wax on the metal certainly isn't going to hurt it. If anything, it's a good thing. I hope this works. We're going to find out together. So let's get this in the gun vise. Now you're going to need, you are going to need some sort of a little mixing cup. So I've got just these little cheapo cups here and a couple popsicle sticks so I can mix the two-part epoxy, which is the Acroglass, 2 parts. Mix that up in there. And you can put dyes in it if you don't want it to just be kind of a light brown color. You can put black or brown or whatever color you want. It's fine. Just a couple drops goes a long ways. So I'm not going to color this dye here. I'm just going to, you can't see it, so I don't really care. I'm just going to mix it up as is, put it in here, be done with it. So now you're going to need like a Fordham tool or a Dremel with a good bit to get in here and hog this out. So we're going to go down into the wood about 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch, and so I want a good heavy compound or not a compound, but I want a fair amount of bedding material in here. So I want to lock this thing up tight. I also want to answer a question that a couple of people have asked now, and that is, why did you change the lug, and what's the purpose for that? So number one, it's a thicker lug, and they are precision ground. If you take the factory lug, put some dial calipers on them and measure them, you're going to see that one end to the other end can be off by several thousandths of an inch. Several. 10, 15 thousandths sometimes. They're just stamped out. The lugs that we're using, this is a Brownell's lug, and this thing is precision ground. It's excellent. You can measure it anywhere around here. You get the same exact measurement no matter where you're taking that measurement from. So it's going to lock up a little nicer. It's a little heavier. You're going to make sure that you got, 360 contact with the nut, the action, and the lug, because it's not tapered in any way. So is it worth doing it? Absolutely. It's going to improve your accuracy for sure. That's been my experience every time. It really does help with the accuracy, upgrading a lug. So, do you have to? No, you certainly don't have to. But it does help. Oh, another thing too. I've got just some all thread here that I put in, and that way I don't want any kind of bedding material getting on the actual bolts for the gun itself. So I just put these threaded rods in here. I'll slip this down into the action, put a spacer and a nut on the bottom, tighten those up I shouldn't say tight, just a little pressure, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long ways. So let's start grinding. Okay, next we're just going to mix up our Acroglass gel here. Don't need a ton, so I'm going to take about equal parts. I'm not going to measure this. You don't really have to measure it. It's 50-50. You can do the best at eyeballing it. I mean, you can measure it if you want. If I was mixing up a really big batch, I'd probably measure it, but since I'm not, there's no sense in that, so that's probably close enough right there. And then I'm just going to put it in this cup here and just start working it. It's a little thick, so just work it for a while. I really want to squish this down into that recess where the lug's going to be, just because I want that. I want as much down in there as I possibly can, just to make sure this thing locks up tight. Also, don't worry too much about what this looks like right now, because we're going to come back and clean this up. You almost always have to clean this stuff up. So here we go, dropping the action down in here. I've got this on here. My barrel alignment to the stock looks perfect, so I'm not going to touch it. One thing you can do is take like a business card or two and set them in here. You could wrap tape around the barrel. You can do all kinds of stuff just to help center that in the channel, but this one is nice and centered, probably because there's still a little bit of bedding right here and some back here. So I put the two nuts on my studs here, just a very slight amount of pressure on those, not much to speak of really. All I'm looking to do is just kind of settle this thing down in the compound. So this is going to go in the house where it's nice and warm. We're going to pop this out of here in about 18 to 20 hours. So tomorrow morning we'll pop this out and we'll see what it looks like. Got the little spacers and the nuts off the studs here, so just going to start rocking this thing a little bit. And it's popping free. Come on out of there. Hey, there it goes. Oh, that was, whoa. Well, that was easier than I thought. Just pull this stud all the way out of here. There she comes, just like that. Wow. I'm impressed. That actually works better than the release agent you get from Brownell's. Huh, let's take a look inside. Alright, that's not bad at all. So I might clean up these areas here where the gel kind of pushed up into that barrel nut there. Some of this is just wax. Actually, I might not have to do anything at all. No, I probably don't. I might just come in here and clean up just a little bit, just to kind of round it off just a little. But other than that, this turned out pretty good here. So blended right into some of the existing bedding that I had previously done, and no hard lips. Certainly cured. I'm happy with that. I'll get this cleaned up just a little bit. We'll be good to go. Okay, well that was actually easier than I thought to pop out of there. A lot of times you kind of struggle with it, and I think from now on I'll be using wax, because the cleanup afterwards, pretty much all I did was just take a towel and just you know, wipe off the action and that barrel nut, and the wax just wipes right off. Nothing stuck to it whatsoever. So, and you know, wax ain't gonna hurt nothing, just to help protect the metal anyways. So anyways, that was it. I'm gonna go ahead and just, like I said, clean this up just a little bit, just for aesthetics, even though you don't see it. But well, that's it. So anyways, I'll link some stuff down below to the wax and different things, so you can check that out if you're interested. But other than that, we'll see you next time for the reassembly.